Okay.
And I'm going to mute everybody, and we'll unmute at the end for questions. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar series. Today we're going to be looking at career readiness and remote learning, presented by Rebecca Gibbony, one of our curriculum specialists at IU17. She's going to do our presentation, and then there will be time for question and answer at the end. Throughout, though, feel free to use the chat to present questions, and we'll field them as they come up or at the end of the presentation today. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and I'm going to turn it over to her to get started. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our topic today for career readiness in remote learning. And we were just in our curriculum coordinator meeting, and as we all are aware, career readiness does not have a stop on it because of the pandemic. So we keep trucking along with that. And so today's conversation is just mainly going to be what resources are out there right now that we can continue to support our students as they explore careers and get prepared for the future. So just a reminder, the skills, the readiness skills, the self-awareness and self-management, how can they recognize and regulate emotions, establishing and maintaining relationship, communicate and collaborate amongst diversity, and then the social problem-solving skills, so demonstrating the empathy and respectful choice. So what I'm going to have you do is in the chat window, I'm going to have you post just how before, when we were in the classroom setting, how did you facilitate these kinds of skills? So go ahead in the chat and just, it doesn't have to be a paragraph, but just quickly type a couple of things you did in the classroom that you were able to hit on some of these skills. I'll take a quick pause to do that. Good. So we have daily community meetings, social skills lessons, daily social skills lessons, reflection assignments, class discussion, a tour. Great. Reflection assignments, class discussions. Good. All right, so now I'm going to have you shift your thinking. So you did that in the classroom. What can you do, or what are you doing right now for it in remote learning? I know you're in a webinar to find that out, but I want you to start thinking about it from the get-go. What could you still be doing, or what are you doing? Haley's using Suite 360. Good. Anyone else? Zello, good. Zello's still there, good. Small group discussions. Oh, good, Erica. You guys are doing a week designated. Good. Great. So those are all amazing. And I want us to keep remembering that just because this has moved to remote learning doesn't mean you have to lose what you've already started. And so actually, I feel like now more than ever, platforms and different resources are out there to really work and reach our students with specifically these needs. So this week, we've really been focusing in a whole, like for career readiness. And so we have, perhaps you have that in-house like Zello or the in-house programs that you've already invested in, kids are used to, you're doing, or a digital portfolio. We talked about earlier this week, project-based learning and a capstone experience. But the question is, where are those resources now? Again, you already said you're doing some small group instruction. I personally feel, and I know I'm not in the classroom, but I know I have been able to make more with teachers, small group and one-on-one conversations now than I ever have. And so some of you guys mentioned that you're still doing those parent-teacher phone calls and student-teacher phone calls in the small group instruction. I found that now more than ever, I'm having less distraction in the fact that when that small group meets, it might be 20 minutes and then I'm done. And so having those small group meetings, office hours are very helpful. So a couple of things I wanted to share with you with some opportunities to enhance, getting the experiences for the students is that first thing is continue to reach out to your local partners, whether they're in session and still working or not. They might be at home and willing to jump on a Zoom call with you and be a guest speaker in your Zoom session or small group instruction and be like, hey, can you just talk to us about this? Can you talk about this? And I think, more now than ever, they'll be willing to do that because they might be at home looking for things to do too. So continue to reach out to your local partners. The other thing I was going to say is, has anyone, and you can sort of raise your hand or not, but has anyone ever used Skype in the classroom? Okay. So Skype in the classroom, and you can reach out. I'm not going to go into detail to how to set up an account and things like that, but Skype in the classroom has a lot of different opportunities. They can work on Skype collaboratives. They can do 20, like it's like a Skype game, like 20 questions, where am I? I know that's not really college and like the career readiness, but one thing that they offer are guest speakers. And so you can search. So they have the mystery Skypes. That's what they're, the 20 questions, the virtual field trips on Skype. And this is all free. And then guest speaker sessions, collaborative projects, special events. So like, look on this website for things that are available that students could join. So if I'm looking at a guest speaker, there might be an occupation. So I'm looking here real quick. Like I know yoga, but meeting an author, maybe someone's into being an author. You could feature each week possibly like a guest speaker. And this is also something when you're going back into the classroom that you can use too. And then they would come on, meet, have the experience to talk with them. This goes in with like also your local partners. So there was another one, there's a lot of author ones. There was someone here, like a biologist. I think I spelled that right. There we go. So you can literally reach out to some of these people and then you would set up a time with them that they could come on and meet with you. Now, if you do it with another country, just keep in mind that they'll have the time difference. But if you view their profile and then reach out to them, you can schedule a time and they can come in. They are approved from Skype to be guest speakers. So, anything from, I don't know, maybe they have something for like welding. So guest speakers of welders, and you can look there as well. So that is one resource I wanted to show you, the Skype in the classroom, that is free and you can reach out and connect with them. The other thing, and some of you guys mentioned you do online field trips, are the online field trips. So through Google Expeditions and Discovery Ed, they have tons of resources right now. With Google Expeditions, what I like with Google Expeditions, I know this is career readiness, but also college. A lot of students are not getting their college search, right? The college visits and everything like that. You can set up a college search that a kid could do, and maybe that's part of your small group discussion. Maybe they're interested in a certain, in my classroom, we did University of Miami. So maybe you would feature a different college each week, a lunch bunch or something. Kids could come and then you do small group instruction for kids, just how at Loyalsock when I taught there, we had colleges come and visit. You could do something like this. Also, I know a lot of colleges are transitioning into virtual tours and things like that. So maybe you want to schedule the college visits. Admissions counselors are still working with that as well. So what I did for you here is I've linked, and Scott put in the chat a link to the presentation, but we'll also upload the presentation to our online learning hub. You can see all of the Google Expeditions right now, and then their description, and then their link to view it on the web. Because even though, like, I think people think just because Google Expedition has the goggles, you can't view it. You can view it on the web. So they have the link there as well. So if you just scroll down, you can see a bunch of different things. A first look at college, they could do that, and then reflect, how you guys said you have your reflections. And there, I saw some on here with some colleges as well. So they also have, I think, Erica, you're the one that mentioned, doing a virtual field trip of sometimes like different kinds of plants, not like the green plants, like a industrial plant, and things like that. So I gave this, here's Arizona State University. I gave you this so that you can use it again, when we get back to the face-to-face setting as well. This is a great resource for you. And we also have the Google Expedition kits at our Learning Library. The other option is the Discovery Ed, the virtual field trips that they have. They have a host of virtual field trips right now. And if you go by subject area, they have careers and college readiness already bookmarked for you. So these are all of their field trips that they have. And you can take a look at all of these. And when I click on them, you can click even further, and you can see the virtual learning experience, and click further and further. So explore there's the educator guide too. So if you're working with teachers, you could look at co-planning lessons, or if you are a teacher, this would help with your lesson planning. And again, you can play around on this site. I know that NASA has a lot of different virtual experiences as well. They're even doing like classes for kids on how to be an astronaut. I just saw that the other day on Twitter. Every day they're coming out with, everyone is coming out with new virtual experiences to immerse your students. The other thing, is we are partnering for our offline students with WVIA. And WVIA is working on some programming that they're incorporating degrees that work. And so they're featuring, if you look here, the system scheduling. Now, some things have been switched around recently, but this is a rough draft of, for example, like the working class helping and healing. So like the health fields. Then we have, we had some welding on here as well, I believe. Here we go, degrees that work, advanced manufacturing, nanotechnology. So these are programs that will be aired on WVIA at certain times, and then your teachers or you could use this as material to then use for instruction. And what they're also looking to do is put in some worksheets and resources, applications, how to build a resume, some links to tie into make contact with this company, and so forth. Over here on the right, so if I click on here, these are teacher tech resources. So you can see this is what it would take you to. Here is the actual program. And then support materials, so for some teaching tips and some step-to-step guides, and then the standards that are covered during this lesson. This is through the WVIA website, and you can go through and see, it's called Learn at Home. And here's the other one, so the Learn at Home website, and then you can see what is airing for the week, and then the resources. So they are offering some for especially our offline students for you to see. So a couple of things to keep in mind, just the questions that are always posed, especially on the SAS, you'll see it when I pull up the SAS website, still, like, do you have the classroom resources to help students achieve their goals? So again, just because we're in remote learning doesn't mean that the resources aren't there. In fact, I feel like there's more resources there. And whenever you feel like there's not, always reach out and ask, because right now they are willing to make the resources so that it's easier for you. The other question, like, are your students engaged in meaningful activities to support their career portfolios? So the idea of, and Scott and I have discussed this through this webinar series, is, it's quality versus quantity. We don't need kids doing more and more. Is what we're putting out there for them worthwhile? Are they engaged? Is it meaningful? We don't need the students to be doing 10 different activities, but they're not really meaningful. It could be just simply find someone and do an interview over the phone. What opportunities are available for you and your students to expand their 21st century skills and their workplace skills, those skills that we talked about at the beginning? Don't forget about that. With every activity that you embed, think about those skills. How am I teaching empathy? How am I teaching diversity? If you have a guest speaker on Skype come on from another country, that's a great way to talk about a little bit just of diversity. How is this career different than the career in Australia? And do your students have the post-secondary pathway for success? So again, all of those questions that keep playing around this area of focus that you want to keep referencing and keep coming back to. I am going to show you SAS has updated, and Maggie brought this to the attention. They have updated on their SAS website with a bunch of different resources. So here are links, your 21st century workplace, and then you download them. They have a bunch of PDFs. And sorry, the continuum, the classroom resources right there. And so you can see they have a bunch of things already embedded that they've added to support this remote learning. So at this time, we're going to turn off the mutes. I see we have a couple of different chats in here. Yeah, great. I'm glad someone brought up the supervisor may have the login information. So reach out to them if you do not have the SAS information to log on. So any questions? I think, Scott, did you unmute them all? We'll stop the recording. Perfect. You can unmute yourself. We'll stop